It's been described as a journey of a lifetime, from Derry in the north to Kinsale in the south, a total of 2,500 kilometres. And over the next 14 days, we'll be following Johnny Oosten and Pat McGowan take on this immense challenge in aid of Pieta House. So stay tuned.
Johnny, tell me a little bit about why you got involved in this challenge.
Well, Caroline, good morning to you first of all. I have always been involved in challenges down through the years, and I'm one of these people that has to have a goal, something to look forward to. And today will be the start of our third time doing the Wild Atlantic Way Challenge. And you might ask the question, why 3 times?
Exactly, yeah.
Why 3 times? It's just we first cycled this back in 2017 and again in 2018. And I was thinking to myself, God, what am I going to do this year in 2020? And I couldn't really think of anything. So I said, you know what we'll do? We'll go for it and we'll do it 3 times in a row.
Fair play to you, Johnny. Fair play to you. Pat is with you for this particular cycle. So how do you get people along the way?
Patrick McGowan would be more so a professional cycler. I'm a mountain climber, so to me cycling wouldn't be my thing, but he kind of gets me through it. Now in 2017 Patrick did the Wild Atlantic Way Challenge with me. He took a break in 2018 and he's back with me in 2020. And today, as I said, is the start of our third venture. People join us, Caroline, at each stage. Not all stages, but we have different cyclists join us, so it kind of breaks it for us as well. We get to meet new people and make new friends, and it's all about I suppose enjoying the trip. It's not a race. As you said, it's described as a journey of a lifetime, and a journey you must stop, see, look around, take pictures, and enjoy.
Tell me a little bit about the sponsor.
Thank you, Caroline. Yeah, the sponsor is Nova Vita, and Niall Murphy, of course, came on board. I approached Niall and Nova Vita a number of months ago with the idea. Without a sponsor, it would not be possible. People might say, God, are you wasting money, money that's been raised for Pieta House on staying in premises and that. No, it's not. It takes about 6 months to organise. All our accommodation is sponsored, our evening meals are sponsored, our breakfast is sponsored, and soups and sandwiches on the day are sponsored. But there are things that we have to pay for. That would be production, camera crew, Sky TV, and there are other costs involved. And without a sponsor, there's no way we could do this. So fair play to Nova Vita and Niall Murphy. They came on board and they're looking after those expenses.
Excellent. And tell me why you chose Pieta House as the charity.
In previous years, we didn't set a target to raise money. We just wanted to create awareness and let people know that Pieta House is out there. There are so many people suffering with anxiety and depression. We hear some awful stories out there about people taking their own lives, and the people that suffer, they're left behind, wives, husbands, brothers, sisters, best friends. And so we just want to let them know that Pieta House is there 24/7. So this year we decided maybe we can raise a few euros along the way. We're going to set a target of 5,000 euros, and hopefully, you never know, we could go higher.
Excellent, very good. And what are you looking forward to the most for the next 2 weeks?
I'm looking forward to sunshine, hopefully, if we get any.
Yeah.
Even though the weather's not promised great.
No.
I'm looking forward to meeting the people, Caroline. I'm looking forward to socialising with people, stopping, taking photographs. On our previous journeys, I've met some of the greatest people one could want to meet. And this is a great country, Ireland, and there are places in this country that I've never been to, and there are places that I will stop off again this year that I've been to before and cycled through before, and I really look forward to that. And it's about the whole experience, I suppose, of knowing in your heart that you're doing good for somebody.
Excellent. Johnny, I wish you all the best of luck.
Thank you so much, Caroline, for your time. Thank you.
Johnny, we are 1 week into the journey, so tell me a little bit about the challenges that you've been through over the last week, from Derry all the way down to Westport. Tell us a bit about the countryside and the hospitality along the way.
God, it's been an eventful week, I must say. I mean, I've done this journey 3 times, but what comes to mind straight away to answer your question would be wind and rain, and a lot of it. Yes, we started in Derry. We stayed at the Da Vinci Hotel, and we were well looked after there. I'd also would like to thank Rachel Crossan and her staff here for her sponsorship and her kindness and the way they've looked after us since our arrival here yesterday evening. We're very thankful. We're even more thankful to have a gentleman on my right hand side here, Mr. Brian Tierney, who is the Mayor of Derry. Brian, thank you for being here.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm delighted to be here to help launch this huge challenge that you have ahead of you over the next 14 days. I'm delighted that you have started your challenge in Derry, and I think it's a brilliant cause that you are working to raise this money for Pieta House. I wish you all the best over the next 14 days, and I hope you have a safe journey right down as far as Kinsale to County Cork.
And our first journey was from Derry City to Letterkenny by the coast road to Malin Head. When we got to Malin Head, the weather took a turn for the worse. The winds picked up, the rain came down, and there was very poor visibility. From Malin Head then, our journey would have taken us to Buncrana in County Donegal, and we stopped there at Lily Rose's, so they really looked after us well.
Excellent. So after this then, where did it take you?
And on day 2 then, our journey was from Letterkenny to Dunlow via Dunfanaghy on the north coast, and there we happened to meet a guy by the name of Danny Devlin, and Danny Devlin does a lot of work for Pieta House in the northwest. So while there we stopped off and had some refreshments, and well, Danny had a chat with us.
In order to keep Pieta House going, obviously it's a free service. Fundraising is a major factor in having the service and keeping the service here. It is well worth it. I know their lives have been saved here in the northwest because of the service, and I'd just like to see the service continuing for as long as possible.
This year we're staying in a lot of different accommodations, and Marie owns a guest house in Dunlow called Inishowen. God, she really looked after us, and we were kind of sad really leaving Dunlow that morning because Marie had looked after us so well. And McCafferty's restaurant there just at the end of the town, absolutely beautiful place and lovely people, and I suppose it gives me the opportunity to say thank you for your hospitality. Yeah.
Brilliant. So coming out of Dunlow then, where was the next stop?
Day 3 would be Dunlow to Donegal town. We went by the Glenties and we went to Ardra, and I must say there was a lady there who I'd made contact with on Facebook prior to our event by the name of Maria White, and she has a beauty section in creative hairdressing in the centre of Ardra, and there I decided we'd go in and have a chat with Maria, and she made us feel very welcome, all the team, and she suggested I would have my nails done. And you know, there's not a town, Maria, or a village in Ireland that has been, you know, with all our tragedies, people have taken their lives. We all know somebody, it's an awful thing to say, but years ago, I mean, we used to say, you know, we all know somebody who's affected by cancer, who was died by cancer, but now, I mean, you know, we all know somebody who has taken their life, and it's very sad, you know.
It's very sad. I actually know so many people now that have families that have been affected by suicides, and not alone that, young people.
Where's the nail polish now, Johnny?
Well, in fact, I was a bit embarrassed, to be quite honest with you, and I was getting strange looks from the waiters and the waitresses as to this guy with blue nails.
From Ardra, then where did you head?
God, hills, talk about hills. The hills of Donegal, and there's quite a number of those. There's lots of them, in fact. But yeah, just outside Ardra, you turn right, and there's a place called Glengesh, and it's a beautiful valley. Now, I don't know how many other cyclists could make it up to the top of Glengesh, but I certainly couldn't. I would have to walk the bike up there. But the view from Glengesh, it's one of the points, in fact, of the Wild Atlantic Way, was absolutely stunning. And mind you, the rain held off there, well, somewhat. From there, then we continued on our journey, and it brought us up to a place called Glencolmkill, and there's a folk park village there. Yep. And there's a lady there by the name of Margaret, and oh my God, I mean, I see some old Ireland style houses before, But this was a whole village of old Irish houses. There was a fisherman's house there. There was the old house with the open fires, and there was an old Irish bar there as well. And Margaret showed us around, and she made us a cup of tea and a cup of coffee. She produced the Guinness, the old Guinness bottles. Mind you, I don't think it was Guinness that was in them. Yeah. But anyways, we got some nice photographs there with Margaret, and she made us feel so welcome.
So that's Margaret in Glen Columkill?
Yes, in the folk village, yeah. From there, oh God.
Back to the hills again?
Back to the hills of Donegal. And not only that, but the rain came down and the winds picked up, and it was a long, long journey then out in the wilderness between Glen Columkill right into Donegal town.
Would I be right in saying that Storm Ellen had just hit at that stage?
You're right, and it did hit. But it was a very kind of, like you said there, was very bleak, and you're kind of out in the open. And I thought to myself, you know, if somebody got sick or wanted to go to a shop for a pint of milk or something, I mean, they'd have a long way to travel, you know.
I'm sure they would be well stocked up now.
Probably, and they'd have a load of cattle anyways. I think that Donegal Council must have got a huge grant for roadworks, because I'm not exaggerating here, but every 2 or 3 miles there was roadworks were, and you know something, that's all positive because we're going to have fantastic roads. But the roadworks along with the cycling in the wind and the rain is something I'll never forget. Yes, we stayed just outside Donegal town in Harveys Point 5-star, and I must say that I had previously made contact with Mr. Noel Cunningham. Talk about being looked after. Oh, absolutely fantastic, beautiful place, certainly somewhere I will go again. And we were welcomed by Mr. Niall Coffey, and Niall really looked after us. But last evening we had the pleasure of staying here in the 5-star complex, absolutely beautiful hotel, Harveys Point. This is my first visit here, and for anybody who hasn't been to Harveys Point, I would put it on your wish list. I'm delighted on my right hand side here to have Mr. Niall Coffey. Niall Coffey is the General Manager here at Harveys Point. And Niall, first of all, before you say a few words, I want to thank you sincerely.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
And it was an absolute pleasure to welcome you all here for such a special occasion, and well done to you and your extreme hard work and your dedication raising such important funds for Pieta House. Thank you very much.
When we left Harveys Point, it was into Donegal town, and yes, we picked up some people who had joined us for this particular stage of the event, and we cycled out of Donegal town, and the wind picked up just as we left the roundabout in Donegal town.
I believe that the storm was actually moving up from the south.
It was. I had to keep looking down at my bike to see how they punctures, because I was going nowhere. I was getting nowhere. But then all of a sudden the wind would abate, and then you get a kind of a roll. But then again, it would pick up again. But yes, and our journey brought us towards Bundoran, and there's a Waves Cafe there on the main street on the left-hand side as you come into Bundoran from the Donegal side. Looked after there is again. From there we went to Ballysadere, obviously following the route of the Wide Atlantic Way, and into Eastquay in County Sligo, and Eastquay Castle is just absolutely beautiful. And from there then, God, this is a long journey already. From there we went to Inniscrone and stayed in the Diamond Coast Hotel in Inniscrone. Yeah.
Would the journey from Donegal to Inniscrone be the longest day so far?
I'm glad you mentioned that, because of all the days we've done that we've cycled so far, it is like I've cycled this event before, and I was aware that the journey between Donegal town and Inniscrone and County Sligo would be the longest. And with the route we took on the Wide Atlantic Way, you'll be talking about 160, 170 kilometres. It's one day cycling, and in an extreme weather conditions, it was like 200 kilometres.
So the Diamond Coast, how did you find your stay in the Diamond Coast?
Oh, beautiful, as always. I've been to a wedding in the Diamond Coast and I always wanted to go back there, but it's such a nice place, and I suppose, you know, Enniscrone is very popular tourist, and you have the beach there, and so on.
So now this is stage 5.
Stage 5.
You were headed from Enniscrone then
To Belmullet.
Belmullet.
And this was a journey from Enniscrone in Belmullet to Ballina, from Ballina to Killala. Some beautiful scenery in Killala. There's towers, a lovely tower there as well. And we made our way down to Downpatrick Head. What a wonderful spot. Took some photographs and met some people there from Malaysia as well, and it was just lovely. And from there then the hunger started kicking in. And it was an excuse because the weather started getting bad again. So we decided, listen, we look for somewhere to eat in Ballycastle. So we went down from Downpatrick into Ballycastle, and we spotted a cafe on the bottom of the hill called Mary's. I had my chowder, and just lovely food and lovely people.
I've been here for 23 years. Opened in 1997 after buying the building, which was a wreck at the time. It's a fabulous building because it's actually 200 years old, and we're very fortunate that we're on the Wild Atlantic Way, and we have Downpatrick Head up this way and Katie Fields the other side of us, so people tend to pass by us. It's going well. We're doing our best. We meet amazing and fantastic people. Some people are entertained by us, and we feed other people, so overall we try hard.
From there, the elements took a turn again, and I will never forget the journey from the moment we left Mary's to Glenamoy, and from Glenamoy to Belmullet. It was so bleak, wide open area. I mean, I was speaking about the winds being high up in Glencolmkill, but they were nothing compared to the winds that we had to cycle and the conditions we had to cycle in, and all the way from Ballycastle into Belmullet town. And I must say, it's the first time then, and I have to admit this on camera, where I had to get off my bike because I could not make it up the hill. There was no way I was going to make it up the hill. So one of our support wagons came in and came on the scene at the right time. And he said, jump in. He said, you're struggling there. I said, I am struggling. I can't go any further. But I didn't really mind because about 200 yards up the road, I came across another team member. So I didn't feel too bad. And they were struggling as well. So we got some support from the van for about 2 miles till we got to the top of a huge hill. And from there then we made our way back on the bikes again and cycled into Belmullet, and we stayed at the Broadhaven Bay Hotel. And I must say that Eamon and Geraldine Padden really treated us and made us feel so welcome. And I suppose on camera I'd like to thank Eamon and Geraldine because it's not the first time that they have supported us. They are great supporters of Pieta House.
When Johnny contacted us in relation to this fundraiser for Pieta House, we were only too delighted to get involved and assist him with any help that we could. Pieta House does fantastic work for all over the country, and in particular in Mayo. Everyone has been touched by it, so we felt that if we could help at all, we'd be doing our bit.
So our journey was from the Broadhaven Hotel in Belmullet to Bangor Erris, and then you swing left to Ballycroy. That was another bleak area. We cycled on through Ballycroy into Mulrady, and from Mulrady then we went down to Achill Sound, we went down to Keel, and from Keel then right down to Keene Bay, and there's a hill on Keene Bay. There was no way that I was going to get on my bike and cycle up the hill in the conditions. So it was a case of wheeling the bike to the top, and so went down into Keene Bay, one of the great destinations. When people go cycling, they'll always go and see Keene Bay. So there, we went from there then back up to Mulrenny, into Newport and to Westport Woods Hotel. That was a nice day in Westport. On the evening we arrived, and then our journey would have taken us from Westport Woods Hotel, thanks to Michael Lennon and his staff there for looking after us so well, to Clifton. But on this particular journey we were joined by Carl, two Ashes, Maeve and Patrick. So we went out by Patrick and into Louisburgh, and then the beautiful Delphi, down by Delphi, and from Delphi to Lean On to Letterfrack, and Letterfrack into Clifton.
My journey began in Donegal town and I finished up here today in Clifton.
I started the cycle in Enniscrone, I went to Clifton.
I started my journey in Mulrenny and I finished here in Clifton.
I started in Westport and I cycled to Clifton.
I have to say the best part of the journey was getting to meet some lovely new people and getting to do a challenge. It was difficult at times.
My favourite part of the whole thing was probably coming into Clifton. There was a lot of downhill, the descents, that was really nice. But also the scenery out by Ballycurry.
I loved how encouraging and supportive everybody was. I was struggling along, but everyone kept encouraging me loads, so it was great.
The most challenging part was definitely probably the wind and rain along Ballycastle and Belmullet. Gorgeous scenery, but it was definitely the wind that made it a little bit more challenging. But we got there in the end.
Challenging part were the hills around Kylemore Abbey, coming in like the Connemara, the open areas where it was quite windy and hilly. That was quite difficult, but it was all worth it in the end.
The most challenging part, I think, was getting back on the bikes day 2 after day 1. You're a bit sore.
Everything went well for the first week, so now we're prepared. And as the old saying goes, when the going gets tough, the tough get going. So now we're ready for week 2.
And Johnny,
And thank you.
wish you the best of luck for the next part of the journey.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So that's it from part 1. Join us again next week when we follow Johnny and Pat as they continue their journey from Clifton in County Galway to Kinsale in County Cork.